Okay, so we are about to get caught up. I am doing Entrepreneur Pitfall number 17, and today is October 17th. So I'm wearing the same clothes, but I have put on glasses so that now I can distinguish the difference between the two videos. So previous video, no glasses. This video, glasses. Great, you got it. All right, so today's topic is going to be about feasibility. So we're kind of going to piggyback on the previous idea about research. So what happens after you have done your research? And the next thing is feasibility. There are a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners that go into business and do not consider feasibility. They don't do a feasibility report. They don't do enough research to determine whether or not their idea can actually make money. And that's important. So let's start with what are some problems. Like if so, here's the biggest thing. So if your idea is not feasible, then that means that you probably don't have a target market that is purchasing whatever it is that you're selling. You're not making money. It could also be that the market that you're in is oversaturated, so it's difficult for you to get people to pay for your product or your service. There are lots of things that could be happening, but if you have not done a feasibility report, you are really doing yourself a disservice. You may be in for more than one pitfall. You may be in for several. You might be jumping off a cliff if you have not done a feasibility report. So let's talk a little bit about a couple of things, because I'm not going to go over all the things today, but there are several key items that you should be looking for when you are doing research to find out whether or not your business is feasible. So the very first thing I'd like to challenge people about is, and you hear this all the time everywhere you go, does whatever it is that whatever you're doing, does it solve a problem? So does a problem exist, and does your idea solve a problem? The more difficult the problem and the less solutions that exist could be a benefit for you. So if you have a new or unique way to help somebody with a problem or a concern or an issue, then that's a good start. That at least lets you know that you should do further research, right? So if it is solving a problem, move to step 2. Step 2 is considering whether or not you have a decent size audience. So do you have a target audience that has this problem that you have solved? Is it a group of people that would be interested in your solution, and determine how large the market might be? So when we talk about feasibility, in this particular case, we're talking about your demographic. What is that person going to look like? Who are they? Where do they go? Where do they shop? Why would they purchase your product? There's a lot more to it, but that's just in the interest of time. Just make sure that you need to have a decent sized target audience in order for it to be feasible. Why? Because you need to have a decent sized group of people that would be willing to purchase your product. So if you have a decent size market or audience, move to step 3. Step 3 is determining cost. And this is really, really important. You have to determine, like, what's your overhead going to be like? What are the expenses going to be like? And then how are you going to price your product? Because you have to make sure that whatever you use as your pricing is going to be able to cover everything that is entailed in the business of making the product, getting the product out there. So without giving you guys a whole business lesson, the point of the matter is that you want to take the amount that you're going to charge, and you want to make sure that you can deduct your overhead, you can deduct your whatever your expenses are. You can, and that will include things like wherever you're located, your lights, your rent, your cost for production, your cost to get that product out to people. So it might be distribution, it's also marketing of that product, it's packaging for that product, it's a lot more things. But just understand that you have to make sure that whatever it is that you are choosing to sell is going to be cost effective. So will you be able to make a profit? That's the important part. So after you take care of everything that it took for you to create that product and get that product out there and make it visible, are you making money after that? So is there a profit? Once you have decided that there is a profit, you can move on to step number 4. And step number 4 is considering whether or not this is a product that you can market to people. Because there's nothing worse than having a really, really great idea that you have determined it does solve a problem. It does have an audience that's willing to purchase it, and it is cost effective and you can make a profit. But if you don't have any avenues to successfully market it to people, then that's going to make it difficult. So I tell people, when you are thinking about your idea or your business or whatever your product is going to be, it is really important for you to also think about how will you position that product. And that is all about marketing. And of course, that's our expertise at Velvet Rope Experience. We really strive to make sure that we help our entrepreneurs or our clients understand that marketing is a huge part of your business. When we talk about developing or growing your business, a lot of times the growth of your business does come from marketing, or it may come from finding new channels or new ways in which to reach your target audience. And then sometimes it may also be narrowing down your audience, or sometimes it could be widening your audience. So there's a lot of different things that could go with that. But from a feasibility standpoint, I'm going to go over those points again for you. You have got to make sure that whatever it is that you choose to do is feasible. And that's really what your research is doing. So if you watched Pitfall number 16, it talked about researching and digging and finding out more about your business idea, getting to know about your competition, getting to know about your industry. But when you talk about doing a feasibility report, that's where you would put all that research. All the research that you do goes into the feasibility report, or it gives you an idea of whether or not the business that you've chosen or the product you've chosen or the service is actually feasible. So the very first thing is you want to consider, number 1, does it solve a problem? Number 2, do you have a big enough audience to sell that solution to? Number 3, is it cost effective, and will you be able to make a profit as a result of this idea? And then number 4, how are you going to market your idea to the target audience? So that is Entrepreneur Pitfall number 17, talking about feasibility. If you're an entrepreneur, please make sure that you are taking the time to research and find out if your idea is feasible or viable. That is extremely important before you start investing a lot of money and a lot of time into something that may not yield you the money or the rewards that you expected. So hopefully this video was useful to you. If it was, please make sure that you leave a comment. Tell us what you think. Also, follow us on all of our social media. We are at Velvet Rope Experience. And then subscribe to this YouTube channel. We are waiting on you guys to help us get to that 100 subscribers. Y'all are probably tired of hearing me say that, but I'm going to keep saying it until we hit October 31st, because this is my October challenge. So it was awesome talking to you guys today, and I will talk to you tomorrow when we talk about Entrepreneur Pitfall number 18.